So today we're talking about scripted or non-scripted, teleprompter or freestyle. Like, what do you like? What do you prefer? Now the answer might not as be straightforward, but oh fuck, see, this is already the problem. Yes, a lot of people are struggling with it. We notice that with our clients, like they struggle to get good at scripted content, but is it better? Is it not better? Let's dive into it. Unfortunately, there's not a straightforward answer to this. Like, it's actually different for anyone. Some people might like fully scripted content. Some people just want to have bullet points, or literally just like give me a topic and I'll go from the top. No one answer, but I'll share what works for me and what works for mine. We'll compare both of them. We'll go over the pros and cons and give you some examples, but let's hear from Mike first.
So scripted videos are exactly what they sound, right? The content where every single word is written out before filming. So this doesn't automatically mean using a teleprompter, though that is very common. Instead, it's about having a detailed plan for what you'll say word for word. So if you think about the YouTube videos that you watch, who never seem to stumble or go off topic, or there's no cuts at all within minutes, or there's no cuts at all for minutes and minutes, and it's like, do these guys not even make any mistakes? Chances are they're working from a very carefully crafted script. Chances are they're working from a very carefully crafted script and using a teleprompter. One of the biggest advantages of scripted videos, i.e. using a teleprompter, is staying ruthlessly on topic. Without a script, it's incredibly easy to ramble, add unnecessary tangents, or completely forget crucial points. It's also very time efficient, so contrary to what many people think, scripting actually saves time overall. The initial investment in writing might take an hour, but your filming process becomes dramatically more efficient, as well as the video editing process as well. When working unscripted, most creators need at least 3 to 5 takes to get everything right, depending on how experienced you are. But with a solid script, you might nail it in literally just 1 take. And for a 10-minute video, this can easily save hours of production time. Another advantage is a script opens the door to working with writers who can enhance your content, i.e. make it better. And this is how major YouTubers scale their channels. You might not know this, but a lot of big YouTubers, they don't actually write their own scripts. Instead, they focus on the hosting part, i.e. the delivery, the performance, and it's actually the script writers that craft the script themselves. And this approach works especially well for very research-heavy topics where gathering information might take more time than you can spare. An example of this might be tech review channels where you've got to kind of memorize a lot of specifications, which is not easy to remember, whereas if you have a script, you don't need to remember that big list of specifications. Another advantage is decision fatigue, because decision fatigue is real, especially when creating content regularly. So with a script, you've already made all the important decisions about what to say before hitting record. So if you have a script, you can focus almost entirely on the performance of performing that script, as opposed to if you didn't have a script, now you need to focus on 2 things. You need to talk about your communication to the camera, but you also need to remember what you actually need to say. If I'm using scripts on a teleprompter, I can pump out 6, 7, 8 videos in one morning. But if I was going completely freestyle, I could probably do 2 videos at most in a morning, and then I'd be pretty tired and I'd have to have a break. There are some potential drawbacks when using scripts and using teleprompters. One of the biggest is the personality challenge. So this is about the struggle in terms of maintaining your authentic voice and not coming across as too robotic. So when someone else writes your script, it can sound stiff or just unlike you. And this is particularly evident when influencers work with brands, so you can often tell when they switch from their natural speech to reading prescribed marketing copy, the tone just completely changes. Also, using a teleprompter effectively isn't very intuitive. So the first time users often exhibit the telltale robot voice, that kind of monotone, unnatural cadence that screams, I'm reading something. And it typically takes 15 to 20 practice sessions before a teleprompter delivery starts actually feeling more natural. And many creators give up, which is kind of an issue because which is kind of a problem because many creators give up before reaching the threshold, concluding that scripted content just isn't for them, when actually it's just a case of they haven't developed that skill set yet. Scripted content works really well for talking head videos like this, but it becomes a lot trickier when you're doing different formats, like for example vlog style, where you're moving around. Some creators solve this by memorizing short script segments for each location as opposed to using a teleprompter throughout. So even if you're using a teleprompter, you can still make it look natural with enough practice. So I'll give you an example. The last few minutes that I've been talking, I've been using a teleprompter, and I'm wondering if you could even tell. So let me know in the comments if you could tell that I was using a teleprompter. Let me know exactly how.
Let's hope this doesn't pick up.
It doesn't?
No?
Oh, good.
I know, I'm asking.
Oh.
This script is actually part of our newsletter, and when I posted this, one of our friends, Eric, who is actually a spokesperson, so people hire him to be on other people, on their videos, right? And so a lot of what he does is writing, also trying to be natural. He uses the teleprompter like Mike does, but he makes it sound really good. And so what Eric said, which is like a friend of ours, oh no, I already said that. And so what he said is, and I'm gonna quote this because clearly I can't memorize and be accurate in how I say this. It's completely subjective to the person's comfort. Can't even say it when I try to read it. It's completely subjective to the person's comfortability and experience with on-camera communication. Sometimes this takes quite a while to hit your own preference sweet spot, which I agree. A common misconception is that the teleprompter is meant to replace your script's memorization, but rather the teleprompter is meant to support what you're doing and be so comfortable at it, like reading and trying to improvise or trying to deliver it in a more natural way. And so bullet points can work even on a teleprompter. For me personally, and this is Eric, I have taken years to learn how to use the teleprompter in order to help my clients and my own scripts to be delivered more authentically. And this is really important. This is because of two main reasons. Scalability, so that I can get through more scripts. This is what Mike said. He can get probably like 6-8 scripts in half a day. If I have to do this, 6 to 8 scripts, boy, we'll be here all day and I'll lose all the energy. Now, number 2 is accuracy. And this is probably, again, why I'm reading off my phone, so that all the information is included and not skipped over from rambling. What are actually the best practices if you want to use a teleprompter? Again, unfortunately, no right answer, but I'll give you some tips about it. Okay, so the text scrolling speed can be a good thing or a bad thing. Like if it's too fast and you're sounding too robotic and like too rushed and it's not, you don't know what you're doing. Too slow, it might even be worse and you sound very off and it doesn't make sense. Then on the other hand, like if you like the practical thing, like have your text as narrow as possible so that, you know, like playing tennis on screen and your eyes are like going left and right, and it's a very telltale sign of like you're reading off a teleprompter. The app that we use is called Teleprompter. There's a free version and also a pro version. You can just have it on your phone and then record while reading. Very simple. One of our clients used also a webcam that drops down to in front of his screen, so you can read off the screen while the camera is like basically at eye height and it doesn't look like you're reading off a screen. My personal experience with teleprompters and fully scripted content hasn't been the best. First of all, like the writer, even if I write it myself word for word, never really translate. Like I'm a non-native English speaker, so I write really bad. And if I write it for myself, it wouldn't make sense. And I'd rather go off the cuff like this, which is also a con because I might go into the distance on a topic that doesn't make sense like now, and I just keep talking. Also, if I use a scriptwriter that is better at it, it doesn't feel like me. And the few times that I tried, I sounded very robotic. And even when I used the teleprompter, because I was messing up so much and I wasn't really practiced, it still took me more than double the time to deliver that with a teleprompter. So it does take practice. All right, and so to get into the freestyle mode, or what I like to use, the bullet point mode, it's still like a combination of scripted, but not using a teleprompter. So I will write down my full intro and outros, like the most important parts of a video, and then try to memorize those parts. Then later on, when I get into the meat of the video, I will freestyle a little bit more and just try to deliver it as natural as possible. Now, then again, as Mike mentioned, like vlog style and other types of content that would be better natural versus a teleprompter would be better with just bullet points. Now it's going to take you a lot more time. And I'm honestly not following the structure of the script already or the bullet points that I gave you because I'm going over the pros and cons. So let me get back into it. Which are the pros for freestyle? Obviously, it's more natural. Like you have more playroom and your voice is more heard versus a word for word script where you might not 100% be into it. It's faster to deliver once you get good at it. Scrap that, that's not true. It's faster to plan out. So you don't have to put so much time in the pre-production of your video. And also that means you don't need a scriptwriter. Now, we actually do use a scriptwriter even for bullet points because a structure of a video is still really important. It's just that you don't need a scriptwriter to plan everything out. So it's almost more like a researcher or someone that understands YouTube rather than a full-fledged scriptwriter, let's say. And then of course you don't need a teleprompter, which is an obvious thing. But now there's some cons to it, and let's get into those. If you're not the subject matter expert or you don't have enough knowledge about the topic and it doesn't come off naturally, you will notice it and it will take you so much longer to deliver that topic. And as you can notice, it takes a lot longer to record. Like how many times have I had to do, how many times did I have to do this? How many times do I have to look at my phone and figure out what I have to say? Chances are you're not sticking to the point, which is probably the first half of what I was talking about, and you're just wandering off and it takes forever. Freestyle, when you're not used to it, is probably the most nerve-wracking part because you're not confident in what you're delivering. What Mike spoke about is like, you only have to think about what you're saying in the pre-production and you just have to focus on your performance after. Now I have to make sure that I know what I'm saying and how I say it. And because of that, I'm 9 out of 10 procrastinating, which is funny enough, the previous video that I made on this. And often I'm just not recording at all because I'm just not looking forward to do it. For me personally, what works best is to just write down everything on top of my mind and start structuring it accordingly. Or I might even use AI to structure a good layout of a video and then start filling it out for myself. I work on a really detailed intro and a detailed outro, and then I write down all the bullet points as I would on camera. Then if I write everything down as much as possible, this then prevents me from going off. Like if I did go off script and I check my bullet points again, it's like, ooh, I went too far. I'll redo it again so that we have another take where all the extra fluff doesn't matter. And you still need to write down as much as possible because going off script and off structure is probably like the most confusing thing for viewers. Obviously, I'm not the perfect example. There's other people like Ali Abdal who do a way better job at being natural, but I believe that he started off scripted and teleprompters back in the day. He's been doing it for like what, 5, 6, 7, 8 years. And right now he just needs to think about a topic. He gets like a whiteboard in front of him. He starts writing and talking to you. He loves the writing thing. So there's other ways of doing non-teleprompted, non-scripted stuff and delivering it so it sounds natural, like having aids like a whiteboard, or you do screen recordings and stuff like that. That will definitely help you out. So yeah, there's no one answer. Let me know what you think, and I should have planned this better, how to outro this, huh? Even if I said that, I would script it out. But this was like a last minute thing. Let me know what works for you and why, and how long did it take you to get good at it.